On a really hot summer day, most of us would fantasize about jumping into a nice, cool, and refreshing pool. Now, as a homeowner, there are some pros and some cons of this, so let's take a look and see if a home with a pool is for you. My name is Andrew Finney, and my passion is to help you make sense of real estate. If you need help finding a top agent near you, or if you simply want to drop me a line to say hello, my contact info is below. If you're new here, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel now and like this video. Thank you. Alright my friend, let's take a closer look at whether a pool is going to be right for you or not. I know when it's hot, it's sweltering out there, you're thinking, hey, I really just want to lay back, kick back with a Mai Tai or a pina colada and enjoy floating around in the pool. And I gotta tell you, I personally love pools and I have one on my own house. At the same time, there are opposing points of views with these pros and cons. Some people are going to love these pools, and maybe that's you too, and some people aren't. So let's think about this from a couple of different perspectives. Let's consider two fictitious characters. One we'll call Frank and one we'll call Matt. So Frank actually loves his pool. He loves the idea of going out and vacuuming his pool himself. He likes doing all the chlorination himself and all the things that it takes to maintain a pool. Because let's face it, with a pool comes a lot of additional maintenance to your home. All the same, it really can be relaxing, and Frank loves the opportunity to go out on a nice day and slowly vacuum his pool, finding it highly therapeutic and putting him into like a zen-like state. Balancing the chemicals are actually pretty simple to do with some chlorine tab floaters, and he enjoys playing with the pool. In fact, anytime there's an opportunity to be in that pool, as long as it's at least a little warm, Frank is in that pool. And you'll find him hosting many parties with his family and his friends, enjoying outdoor barbecues and diving into the pool together. So Frank is the person that loves his pool. The additional cost of the monthly electric bill, the replacement of pool pumps, the replacement of pool filters, and all the fees that add up into the maintenance side of the pool, he's absolutely okay with. In fact, when people ask Frank about how much does it cost to maintain your pool on a monthly basis, he says, I don't know, but probably around $150, $200 a month for over a year. And they say, isn't that like a lot of money? So it's $1,800 to $2,400. But when I sit back and I think about it, I have a resort style living. I'm able to host my loved ones. I'm able to have a great time with my family and my friends and my own home at the cost of what some people would spend on a 5-day vacation. I get 365 days a year. Now, Matt, on the other hand, is like, I hate a pool. I don't want a pool. If I bought a house and it had a pool, I would only buy it because the house was right, not because it had a nice pool. I would prefer to fill it in with sand, concrete, or something and just get rid of the darn thing. And there's some reasons why Matt feels this way. Let's take a closer look at what Matt thinks with the cons of owning a pool. So Matt says, hey, well, if I don't have a pool and I want to build one, the first con is going to be the actual cost of building a pool, which right now, 2019 in the Las Vegas area, could easily average $45,000 to $65,000 just for the pool installation. Obviously, that price is going to vary around the country. The second one is increased water bills, because as it gets hot outside and you have exposed water, the sun is evaporating the surface layer of the water. And in like Las Vegas, Nevada, for instance, you can burn as much as 1 to 3 inches a day of water. So you're constantly refilling the pool. The third is increased electricity costs for the pool pump, or as a con number 5, roughly $150 per month for a pool service, which takes you to that $1,800 number if you don't want to maintain it yourself. And then the number 6 is resurfacing every 5 to 10 years. Well, here's the thing. You don't really have to resurface a pool every 5 to 10 years if you're taking good care of your pool. You might get as much as 15 to 25 years of life out of the liner of the pool, depending on the grade and type of liner that you have, and of course balancing it to your climate where you live. Now, the second con that Matt says he doesn't like is the deck repairs every so often. Well, define every so often, says Frank. He's like, well, what does that mean? Every so often, like every 10 years maybe? Well, Matt says, hey, I still don't want to do it. The 8th is the pump replacement. If you have to replace a pool pump, for reference, depending on if your county or your city offers any kind of incentives to go to high energy efficiency pool pumps, you can generally be looking at anywhere between $1,200 and $1,500 for a top grade pool pump that's going to be a variable speed, which I always recommend. The variable speed helps cut down on your electric costs, by the way. So then Matt says, well, what about the 9th con? You got to replace the filters every so often, maybe once a year, once every 3 years. Again, goes back to how you maintenance it, says Frank. He said if you clean the pool pump, if you clean the filters once a month, you're going to extend the life out 2 to 3 years. And Matt says, well, I don't want to do that either. I'd just rather have somebody come in. I hate anything to do with my pool? Well, if you have to replace the filters, it depends on your filter cartridges that you have on your pool. But if you get them on Amazon or you go to the pool supply store, you may be looking at an additional $250, $300 for pool cartridge replacements depending on the type that you have. And Matt's 10th point is saying, well, I'm going to experience increased homeowners insurance premiums, and I don't want that. I want to keep my bills as low as possible without experiencing any problems. So when we think about Frank's position to Matt's position, are either of them wrong? No, absolutely not. Is Matt correct with the different things that are associated with owning a pool? And if you don't have a pool, the cost of installing a pool? Absolutely, he's correct. So then a lot of people would say, well, Andrew, would the pool add value to my property value at large? Could I get my $45,000 to $65,000 back? It really depends on your state and the type of pool that you're putting in. If you're in a hotter, drier climate like Las Vegas, Texas, Arizona, California, different New Mexico, different areas like that, then more than likely you're going to get a boost out of your pool and it's going to add to your property value. But maybe in some colder states like back east, you might not be getting such a big boost for your pool because it comes with associated problems of trying to maintain that pool. You got to winterize it. You got to make sure that everything is on the up and up with the pool. You got to make sure your pipes don't crack. So it becomes more of a thing that's a detriment to Matt's point, saying, hey, there's so much I got to do with my pool. I'm not sure that I'm up to the task and I don't know that I'm really going to use it. Look, at the end of the day, if you're like Frank and personally myself and you're in that pool every chance you get, because personally I have a couple of Labrador retrievers and I absolutely love getting them in the pool. In fact, every night whenever I get home from work during the pool season, I'm out there with my labs. They're jumping in off the side deck. They're coming after me. I'm squirting them with water guns. I'm having a grand time with them, but I am a pool lover. In fact, I often tell people when they say, Andrew, why do you love your pool so much? And I say, well, as a former United States Marine, I am amphibious by nature. And if I don't have water to get into, I'll be like a salamander and I'll dry out. I can't dry out. I got to be able to get into the water and have a grand time. And so I love my pool. I enjoy my pool, and I get about 7 to 8 months of use out of it over the course of a year in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, that being said, if you don't use a pool, to Matt's point, you might be thinking, well, it's nice to look at. It's okay to have, I guess, but if I'm not going to use it, then why do I need it? And that's a brilliant point. So you really want to get clear on what it is that you want. Will you use a pool if the house has it? If the answer to that question is honestly no, then don't bother looking at homes with a pool. Now, if the answer to that question is, yeah, you know what, I think that I would use a pool and I am up for the challenge of the additional home maintenance and I'm okay with additional costs associated with owning a pool on average, and I'll make sure that I learn how to do a lot of things myself because I want to enjoy my pool. Now, the other thing that Matt might throw out there is, well, what about major repairs? What about if you have a self-cleaning pool that have those little jets at the bottom of the pool that pop up and you got to clean it, and you have to change them out from time to time if they get broken? That's a brilliant point, because the only way to really change those out, depending on the depth of your pool, may be to drain your pool, which means you're going to have to spend the money to refill the pool after you're done. But also by draining the pool, it gives you the opportunity to rebalance your chemicals, clean out the solids in the water that may be present, and also service your pool at large. If you have pool lights, it's a great time to change them out if they need to be changed out. So there's a lot of benefits to draining the pool and just servicing the pool once a year or once every 2 to 3 years. That being said, Matt's like, hey, but what about the liner itself? If that thing goes out, how much is it going to cost? And he has a really good point there, because now that part can get extremely expensive. So when you're looking at replacing a pool liner, depending on the size of your pool, you could be looking as much as $15,000 to $20,000 depending on the type of liner you're installing. Now, whenever I'm suggesting that number on an average basis currently, what I'm thinking in my mind's eye is a pool that's about 25 feet long by about 15 to 17 feet wide, about a 5.5 to 6 foot deep pool with a PebbleTech liner. That's what I'm thinking in my mind, assuming that they had to go in with a jackhammer and pop it out to replace the liner at large. Now, fortunately, in places like Las Vegas, Nevada, unless that pool has sat vacant and that pool was actually without water and the sun was cracking the liner, as long as you keep your pool filled up and you take care of it the right way, you can get 15, 20 or more years out of the liner of the pool before you're going to have to replace it. Now, in other videos that I've made about the cost associated with owning a home, I always have suggested that you save between 1 and 2% of your home's value every year into your home budget for your repairs and your renovations. If you do that, by the time that you get there and it's time to go ahead and pop off that ticking time bomb called your pool liner, you'll have more than sufficient capital on hand to make that improvement to your pool and make sure that you're maintaining it correctly. All the same, owning a pool can be really fun, or it can be really bad. So are you a Frank or are you a Matt? This is up to you and how much you're going to really use a pool. I hope this video has been helpful to you and illustrated some of the things that you should know about owning a pool, from the pros and the cons. Obviously here, I'm a pool lover, but there are a lot of people that I work with that aren't pool lovers. That's okay. Everybody's different, and that's why you have homes with them and without them. All I ask you to do is think about it carefully and the associated costs to help you make a well-informed decision that's right for you in your new home. And on that note, let's go ahead and talk about finding the right home for you and how to buy and sell a home with solar panels. Looking forward to our next conversation. We'll see you in a few.